Hello and welcome to our introductory series. Today's topic is Unleashing the Data Magic, Mastering Power BI for Business Insights. This intro session is set up to see if this course is right fit for you or for your team. Thank you for taking the time out and being here today. CCS Learning Academy is the professional training division of the CCS Global Tech, a 28 years old full service IT consulting firm. We help business to build their teams with skill tech professionals depending on their project needs. We also help them by upskilling, reskilling their workforce on the latest technology trends, professional development, and leadership training. We offer a wide range of innovative technology solutions, training, and career placements. My name is Rajbir Singh, manager at CCS Learning Academy, and I have been in technology and professional training sector for over a decade. I work with students, organizations, and leaders for their professional development. We will be running a live Q&A at the end of the webinar. So we have enabled our Ask a Question feature. It is on the bottom of your screen. If you have any question, just put them in there. Today, we have well-respected subject matter expert, trainer, and a speaker who is MCSA Certified Business Intelligence Developer with over 12 years of work experience in information technology and services industry. She is also specialized in SQL, BI Stack, Power BI, TFS, SharePoint, and data analysis. So please welcome Gayathri Janagama. I will hand over to Gayathri now. Gayathri, you can take it up from here.
Thank you so much, Rajbir, for the introduction. A very good afternoon, good morning, everyone. My name is Gayathri Janagama. I'm a MCSA, MCT certified professional trainer. So today, I first of all thanks everyone for joining the webinar where we are gonna see the data magic and how to master Power BI for our business insights. So before we get into the webinar, let me just give you a brief introduction about myself, though Rajbir has mentioned it. I've been working in this IT industry for about more than 13 years now. With CCS, I'm with more than 12 years. And as mentioned, I'm an MCSA certified business intelligence developer. I have experience on the entire Microsoft SQL BI stack, along with Power BI, TFS, SharePoint, and I keep on adding new technologies to my profile now and then, like Snowflake, Tableau, and also Azure. So in this presentation, in today's webinar, we are going to see how we can transfer a raw data into a business insight using the tools that are available in the market, especially the Power BI. So without any delays, let's get into the presentation and I will give you a brief introduction and a complete detailed explanation of what is Power BI and what are we going to do. And then towards the end, I will give you a small demonstration of all the topics that we have learned today. And the remaining time will be open for any Q&A. So the main agenda for today's webinar is going to be, a brief introduction to Power BI and how do we visualize the data? How can we collaborate and share this information? What are the real world use cases and examples? And what are some of the tips and tricks for Power BI success? So let's start with introduction to Power BI. So now, whenever we talk about Power BI or in general, any kind of a report, we have to first of all have a specific data that we will be using in order to mold it and make it a useful interactive interface or a report for a business to make a decision. That's why we have two categories here on the screen, which is a business data and a business decision. When it comes to a business data, each and every company has a different set of data. When I mean by data, it could be their information, the company information, either it could be the entire company information or related to a specific department in a company. It could be of any sort. So a data can be in multiple formats. Either it could be a structured data where you can see the data is in a clean, neat table format, or it can be an unstructured or raw data where we have to again further, excuse me, we have to further transform it and then bring it into our system so that we can pull appropriate information from it. So this business data, whatever we have in whatever the format, is properly modeled and then put into an appropriate format so that a business decision can be made out of the analysis that you're trying to give. So I'm using the word analysis here, which is very important because a business decision is made on proper analyzed data. And this analyzed data would be coming from the business data, which is in return extracted and then properly profiled and cleansed. So now let's see what exactly we have to do in order to bridge the gap between the business data and how a decision can be made on top of it. So as you see here, business data is completely which is going to be on the technical terms where the data could be a structured or a non-structured, unstructured data, whereas a business decision is something which is made by the company. It could be with a business user, it could be, they could be technical people, they could be subject matter experts, or they could be non-technical business owners as well. So in order to bridge the gap between these two, that means converting a completely technical information into an understandable, I don't say non-technical completely, but an understandable, easy to analyze information is what the business decision is going to be simple for any company or any business owner. So in order to bridge the gap between these two, we need some sort of tool or some sort of media which can help us to bridge the gap. And there are so many tools available in the market, but we are much inclined towards the Power BI because there are multiple advantages of this particular tool, which will be discussed in the next few slides. So one way to bridge the gap between the business data and the business decision is through visualizing the data. That is creating a visual out of a structured or an unstructured data. So let me just give you an example. If I take a story book, or in case if I take any book, and if it has got a lots of paragraphs of information, I just go through each and every page and I read through multiple paragraphs. But by the end of maybe if I reach to the midpoint of the book, I may lose connect of what I have learned in the first 2 or 3 pages. Rather, if the same book is a combination of data, I mean to say the paragraphs, which is all the description, along with some images or the figures, which will explain me what exactly I'm reading about. So as a human brain captures the figures and it understands what is going on there and reads the process, visualization plays a major role. Those images or the figures that you're seeing in the book is nothing but it's a visualization. The similar concept even works here whenever we are talking about the data visualization. The data, whatever we are seeing the business data, it could be in a table format where it has got rows and columns. And you can see hundreds and hundreds of tables and there could be so many records in each and every table. You can't keep a track of all the data and you can't remember everything in one go. Rather, if I convert that table into an image, into a visual, let's say maybe a chart, which will show me the columns and the rows that are in the table in the form of an aggregated value, that gives me much better look, and as well as it's very easy for me to even analyze what I'm trying to look into that table for. So that is the power of data visualization, which can be done with the help of multiple tools, like as I mentioned before. But a Power BI is a powerful data visualizing tool. So we are going to now talk about what is this Power BI and what exactly this data visualization. So before I directly jump into the data visualization, I would like to give you a very brief introduction about Power BI. So Power BI is the the reporting tool or the data visualization tool, which is growing super fast in the current marketing situation because this tool is being introduced by Microsoft, and this tool has an upgrade or an update released by Microsoft almost every month since the time this tool got introduced. That is the reason there have been so many upgrades it has been done on this tool for the improvement of it. It is having so many features which will help us in visualizing data in a better and an optimized way. Like as I was talking to you about the data visualization, as you see here, a pictorial representation or giving data a proper image or a proper visual is nothing but a data visualization. If I quickly look at this particular screenshot on my screen, I see there are like 4 different charts which are representing the data, and these numbers here are the cumulative values. So if I have to extract the same information from a business data perspective, it will be in maybe a combination of maybe 5 or 6 tables, or it could be even more. And there could be a lot of coding that has to be done at the back end in order for me to just retrieve, let's say, this 50K value. So it would be a lot of work and a lot of coding and logic that has to put into it. Rather, if I just convert that particular table and whatever I'm trying to retrieve, for example, the total volume here, that is what I'm trying to retrieve from the table. So directly put it in a form of a visual. This visual stays. That means it can be saved and it can be reused. So that is the power of a data visualization, which is the pictorial representation of data. And not only that, it provides high insights and also the key aspects in more intuitive and meaningful way. Like as I was saying, if I have to know what are the total units overall, just imagine I have to maybe join multiple tables in my SQL Server or in any other source that I'm bringing in the data from. I have to transform the data. I have to model the data, put everything into one structured format, and then perform a query on it, and then put it in a form of a result set. Instead of doing all these different steps, if I just pull those tables into the visualization part and convert them into a simple bar chart like this, that gives me the complete information which is required. And it is more meaningful because I can even filter out the data based on the business requirements that I have got. And the third point, this is a quick and easy way. It's not going to take much time. It's a quick and easy way. And whoever does a very basic coding, or even if you do not know the coding, you can still build this visualization on the Power BI platform. So why is this visualization important? We have just seen in the previous slide that what is data visualization. But now let's see why is this important. Like as I was telling you, anyone can interact with the data. So when the example which I have taken previously, reading a book without any images in it and reading a book with an image has a major impact. So that means anyone can interact with that particular storybook, be it from a kid or to an adult or anyone, and an older people, anyone. If they read the book, if they see the images, it will be very interactive for them and they can easily store it in their mind. So that is anyone can interact with the data visuals and whatever the information that you're converting. And it's very easy to correlate, understand every correlation. That means here it is not only identifying one particular pattern, it has got multiple algorithms running internally so that it is giving you all possible combinations of information. Even if I'm not writing that query in that direction, but the data which I'm bringing in, which I'm converting into a visual, can be put into different patterns, or it can be identified by different patterns, and it is going to give me all possible combinations. And the very important point here is we are making a complex information, which is a business data, in a more presentable way, which is very easy to make a proper business decision. See, for example, let's say a company wants to make a decision on an employee, whether to like an year-end appraisals, where like who all employees will get an appraisal and what would be the percentage of an appraisal. So if this is a case scenario, how would a company decide what would be the percentage, who all would be eligible for that particular appraisal? It depends on the data. It depends on the history of that particular employee, what he or she has been doing over the past 1 year, how many appraisals, how many credits did they gain over an year, and were they able to reach their deadlines? Are there any milestones they have reached? So considering all this information, a project manager will make a proper decision. This all historical information is, let's say, stored in the form of a structured table or an unstructured PDF or some kind of sort of a document. So by just going through the document for, let's say, 10 to 15 employees, the project manager may not have a proper insight towards it. What he or she can do, they can simply convert that document into a visual where it gives you the proper combination and it gives you all the categories that you can analyze an employee's appraisal. So it is that easy of a decision making by converting the data into a proper visual. And this is not going to take much time. It is going to make a decision effectively. And the decision, whatever you're going to make, is going to be accurate. The reason it is accurate because it is coming from the real data. It's not coming from some sample data or anything. Whatever the data you're seeing, you're just making a visual out of it. So it is coming from the real data. So the decision is going to be very quick and as well as accurate. So now Power BI. So like as I was telling you, there are so many tools available in the market which implements this data visualization. We have Power BI, we have Tableau, we have even SSRS is one of the Microsoft reporting traditional tool, which can also be used for reporting purpose. Here, there is a difference between the SSRS tool, which Microsoft already has, which is a part of SQL BI stack, and Power BI. Power BI is a data visualization and a dashboarding tool. A dashboard is nothing but it is a single page summary information which gives you all the details in one single page is called as a dashboard. Whereas when I call it as a report is also an information which could be a combination of tables or visuals and everything. But this information is going to spread across multiple pages. That is a report. So a Power BI is capable of doing both report and a dashboard, whereas an SSRS tool is only a reporting tool. It's not a dashboarding tool. So for that reason, Microsoft has introduced Power BI and they have been upgrading this tool so much that there are so many important features inbuilt in it, which can be used to build the appropriate visualization and also have the data readily available. Excuse me. So now let's see what is Power BI. Exactly why do we have to go with this tool when we have so many tools available in the market? There are multiple conditions that we can consider here, multiple case scenarios as well. Why do we have to go with Power BI when we have other tools? The very first thing is it is a Microsoft tool. So when I say Microsoft tool, obviously it is going to be compatible with all the Microsoft applications, plus it is compatible with other cross Microsoft applications too. That means here you can bring in the data from hundreds of sources. There are hundreds of data sources that you can connect your Power BI to. So when I say the source, it's not only the structured data. It could be structured like tables. It could be unstructured like flat files, PDF and Excel files. And it could be even from internet. You can even pull the data from websites. It could be from a cloud platform like Snowflake, Azure. And it could be even from your Twitter, GitHub, LinkedIn. You can bring in the data from whatnot, every single source that is available in Power BI. So with an update every month Microsoft is doing on this Power BI, they keep on adding sources to the existing data sources that are already available in the application. After I give you a brief explanation, when I'm doing the demonstration, I'm going to go over in detail about all the sources and give you a quick demonstration on that. So the first thing is the number of sources it has got. And the main important point about Power BI is Power BI is a cloud. So nowadays, no one is working on on-premises sources or on-premises information. Everything is being moved onto cloud. So though Power BI can connect to on-prem and as well as cloud sources, it by itself is a cloud application. So it has got its own standalone desktop version, which can be used to design the reports. After the reports have been designed, they will be published onto the Power BI services, which is a cloud application. And from there, the reports can be converted into a dashboard, which could be shared across the organization or various people, even outside the organization. And accessing a Power BI is very simple. You can either access them on your phone, on your tablets, or on your laptop machine, anywhere. All you require is a proper Power BI account. If you have them, you can access them. So now, whenever I'm saying a cloud, as this Power BI is a cloud application, you have to log into this Power BI using either your office email or maybe your school or university email. A regular Gmail, Hotmail, or Yahoo Mail doesn't work. The reason here is once you log in with your office email or a school or university email, the Power BI goes and sits on the Active Directory of your company so that it gives you access to send or share whatever the content you're publishing to each and every single person in the organization or maybe a selected group of people as you have been added to the Active Directory. And as it is a cloud application, anyone across the organization can view the data depending on the permissions they have. It's like, everything is instantly updated on the cloud. If let's say if a user is already looking at one of the report that got published, and if I'm parallelly making some modifications to that report, I need not reshare it with that user. When I just update it at my end, the user automatically receives that updates on the report. It's like parallelly all the things are happening on the Power BI services. Like as I said, we have two products here. The first one is a standalone application, which is the Power BI desktop. And we build all the reports here. And after that, we publish it onto the Power BI services, which is the cloud. And then from there, it can be accessed. So this is a basic introduction about Power BI. But before the Power BI desktop got introduced, Microsoft had few plugins, or I could say add-ins, that they have introduced in Excel. But that was even before the Power BI desktop. The Power BI desktop came into existence around August 2016. Before that, Microsoft, since Excel 2010 version, they have introduced Power Pivot, the first add-in. Then in 2013 version, they have introduced Power View, Power Map, and Power Query. These are 4 individual components which got introduced in 2013 Excel. But in 2016, all these 4 components were combined together to form one Power BI desktop, which has got more features than compared to Excel. The reason Microsoft has taken this jump here is in Excel, it's a dependency on Excel, and it has got no dedicated server where you can publish whatever you are designing, be it Power Pivot, Power View, Power Map, or Power Query reports there. So they have made this standalone application, and we are calling this Power BI as a self-serve BI because here we have, so it has got an inbuilt ETL tool. That is, it can extract the data, it can transform the data, and finally you're loading it into a model so that this model can be used for your reporting purpose. So that's the point which is mentioned here, data visualization with self-service business intelligence capabilities, and also driving a data culture from insights to action. So moving on to why we have to use Power BI. Like I've been talking about Power BI, I have given you a very basic introduction, but why? So now there are like multiple uses. The very first thing, if a company wants to bring in any reporting or any data visualizations tool, what they look into, how fast I can build a report in it. Building a report in Power BI will be taking only few minutes. Like as I told you, even if you are a technical person or a non-technical person, if you understand the data and if you want to know what you expecting in a visual, it's very easy to build a report in Power BI, and it will hardly take few minutes, which you'll be seeing pretty soon in the demonstration. And supporting wide range of sources. Like as I told you, it supports every kind of a source, be it web, structured, unstructured data. And the data wrangling operations. As Power BI is called a self-service BI, it has got an internal transformation tool or a modeling tool, I can call it as, which is called as a Power Query. This Power Query will support Python scripts, and also it has got R script support editor in it. And this Power Query editor will transform the data that you are bringing in from the sources. So to add one point here, when I'm talking about the source, a question may raise, like, is it only one source that I can always bring in the data from Power BI? No. Power BI supports a concept of data blending. This data blending is nothing but you can bring in the data from multiple sources, which is having a different granularity. For example, I can bring in the data from a table. For the same report, I can bring in a data from a website. I can bring in a data from an Excel sheet. So it could be different sources that I can bring in the data. And inside the Power Query Editor, where I'm doing the data wrangling, I can model the data in such a way that all the three sources that I have pulled from in this example have the same format, so that it is very easy for me to represent it as form of a visual. And real-time information. Like as I told you, though we create the report on Power BI desktop, once after we publish it on the cloud, whenever we have the data refreshes that are happening from any of the sources that we are connected to, the data automatically gets refreshed on the reports, and always the business users look into the current data, which is the real-time information. Easy to collaborate. Like once you log into Power BI and you get access to the Active Directory of your company, it's very easy to collaborate, or it's very easy to share it with your team members or even outside the company. And when it comes to collaboration, you can directly download an Power BI report, and you can put it as a form of a presentation like a PPT. You can download it in PDF format, and even you can combine this Power BI report with SSRS existing reports. So Microsoft has got this feature of integrating SSRS with Power BI. So where if you already have an existing old SSRS reports in your company, you can always integrate that SSRS report with an existing Power BI dashboard. Then AI infused experience. This has got an AI infused experience with R script, Python script, and there are like so many new features, AI features that have been added recently. It will help you to automate the things as well. And obviously, the main important thing, if a tool has so many very nice features, we'll be worrying about the cost, but Power BI is cost effective. It has got different licensings, like it has got a pro license, which is a very, I could say, a good license to have. And it will cost like $9.99 per user per month. And it is like whenever a particular user has a pro license, if they want to share or like, view the content of the report, the other person should also have a pro license. That is a pro license. But if they have an upgraded version, which is a premium license, which is also nowadays, it's based on a monthly based per user based. In a premium version, in a premium license, usually the Power BI cloud is built on the nodes. That means based on the users who are frequently using and who are not frequently using, we can buy that cloud space based on the nodes. And according to that, all the users are put under that respective nodes, for which you don't require any special licensing for the other person to view into. And the premium is the highest capacity license for Power BI, which has got more features when integrating with other applications too. So now, as I've given you a very brief about the complete Power BI and how it can be used, let me just go over a small demonstration of how quickly we can build a Power BI report and how it can be used in our real-time scenarios. So for this presentation, it's a demonstration, I have picked an data file, which is an Excel file. And I'm going to show you some basic transformations which can be done. So like, as I was telling you, whenever you install Power BI, the installation is also free. It doesn't take much time. When you install the Power BI, it gets you a desktop application, which is Power BI Desktop. It is a standalone application. And after you install, you can log in with your Office credentials. And once you log in, you have options here where you can start building your report. Let's say I want to do a blank report. Just click on that. And this is the basic interface of your Power BI desktop. I'll quickly go over the interface and then we can start with the demonstration. So here in Power BI desktop, we primarily have 4 different tabs. The first tab is a report view, where you will be building the report with the help of data, and different visuals can be used to represent your data in a form of interactive report. When I say different visuals, as you see here on the right side, these are all the different visuals that are available, which are frequently used, but they are not limited to. We have multiple other visuals also, which are available in the Microsoft Marketplace. All you can do is you can just click on Get More Visuals, and you can simply say get more visuals. And if your company has any inbuilt visuals that you want to bring in, you can always import any custom visuals. These are all visuals which are free and you can directly import them onto Power BI, and they are even filtered by different categories. You can simply, let's say, for example, if I want to do a comparison. So if I want to do a comparison, like you see, I have like different charts that are available here. And whenever I want to add a chart, let's say I want to add this bar chart runtime, you can just click on that. And here it gives you the details of what exactly this bar chart runtime represents. It gives you details of it, a simple example, and how it can be used. So all you have to do is you can simply click on add, which will add this bar chart to the existing visuals on your desktop. Or if you want to download a sample and see how this is running, you can even do that. I'm simply adding it. So as soon as I add that particular custom visual, these are called as custom visuals, it appears here under the visualizations. So that is your report pane where you have the data that can be converted into different visual, and every visual, independent visual that you have here has got its own formatting options. So for example, when I click on the ribbon chart here, it appears here and it has got its own formatting options that I can format on this particular visual. Currently, I have to add the data as it says here to start visualizing formatting this particular visual. So going on to the second tab, this is a table view, or I could say it is a data view. So no matter whatever the source that you are bringing in the data from, all the data will be represented here, and it gives you a quick overview of what kind of data you're dealing with. Let's say I have a table, let's say with a name column. That name column could be a combination of a first name and a last name, or it could be a combination of first name, middle name, and last name. If I don't know what exactly I'm looking at, this is a view. It is just a view. It is going to tell you how the table data is looking. And you can make some transformations here, like you can sort that particular column in ascending, descending order, or you can even sort that column based on some other column. You can even change the decimal point. You can change the data type of that column. Such kind of small transformations can be done under this table view. And then we have something called a model view, which is very important and very useful in Power BI. So whenever we are bringing in the data into Power BI, if it is a very one single table, you don't have any problem because all your visuals are brought from that particular table. But if you are bringing in the data from multiple tables, let's say maybe 5 or 6 tables, we have to always make sure those 5 or 6 tables are connected with each other. As you see here, only if there is a proper connection between the tables, it can give us the appropriate result on the visuals, or else it is going to give you inappropriate data, and that visualization will not help you with any kind of analysis. So it depends on how many tables you're picking in from the source and the relationships are appropriate or not. So the question could be, how can we create a relationship when we don't know? So Power BI is a smart capable tool which can automatically inherit the relationship from the sources, and though it is from different source or the same source, it will automatically inherit the relationship. And even in case if you are not able to inherit the relationship, when you come here and you have an option to auto detect the relationship, when you click on that particular button, it automatically detects the relationship once the table are being added to the model. And finally, the fourth tab that you have here is a DAX. So DAX is nothing but it stands for Data Analysis Expressions. So whenever we are dealing with Power BI, as this Power BI is a data visualization tool, inside the Power BI, we can still do some customizations. We always like customizations, right? We don't want the data to be simple and straightforward. So in case if you want to do any kind of customizations, the queries or the code that you will be writing in Power BI will be in a DAX language, that is data analysis expressions. This DAX language is pretty much similar to the Excel formulas that we will be using. So here we have another tab here which says DAX, where you can simply write the condition or the formula here, and you can see whether it is giving you the appropriate result or not, so that you can apply it on the respective visuals. As we have got an overview of Power BI interface, let's get into the practical demonstration of how a report can be done in minutes. So all you have to do is you can click on get data here. And these are the commonly used data sources. But like as I told you, I'm going to show you the other data sources. Click on more. And here you will see a bunch of data sources. As you see, I keep on scrolling down the bar. And all these data sources are further categorized as file, database. Microsoft Fabric is a new thing now. You have the Power Platform, Azure, online, and other. If you're not able to find that respective data source, you can always click on SQL here. Let's say we have everything related to SQL is coming up. But for this demonstration, I have picked an Excel workbook. So I'm going to click on Excel and simply hit the connect button. As soon as I hit the Excel and hit the connect button, it is taking me to that particular place where I want to pull in the file. I'm picking this data file for this demonstration, and it is currently trying to establish the relationship, the connection to that source. As soon as it establishes the connection, then it is going to into a navigator pane where it will show me all the sheets that are available in that Excel file. So as you see here, these are all the different sheets that are available. When you click on any one of the sheet, here you get a preview of data on that particular sheet. The date sheet has this, and I want to pick the geo. The geo sheet has these columns, and you have a product, and the product sheet has all these columns. It just gives you like first 100 or 200 rows, and then the sales. Okay. As soon as I picked all these different sheets, which I want to use for my data analysis, either I can simply click on load, which will load all these 4 sheets in the form of a table into Power BI. But let's say I don't want to load them directly. I want to transform something on this. Maybe I want to make some changes. I want to do some data wrangling on this. So simply click on transform data, which will now open up the Power Query Editor, which is nothing but the transformation tool inside Power BI. That's why we are calling it as a self-service BI. As you see, the Power Query Editor has been opened here, and we have all the sheets that we have selected, and they call it internally as queries. Okay. So for example, now let's say on the date table, I have the month. I have the month number, I have the month name, and I have the complete month here. But the month column here has the complete date with day, month, and as well as the year. Let's say I want to transform this. I can simply right click on that particular column, and I can simply say change type. Either I can change the data type of this particular column, or I can simply say transform. And here what I want in the transform. Let's say if I'm clicking on the month, I want the start of the month, end of the month, or the days in the month, or name of the month. Let's say I want the end of month. I'm just clicking it. When I say end of month, you see it is now only showing me all the end of month values under that particular month column. So as soon as I made this transformation here, you see on the very right side, there is an applied steps option where it is showing you what step you have applied just now. That means what transformation you have done. So what we have done, we have calculated the end of month. Let's say I don't want that. I have accidentally clicked on some button and I want to undo something. If you want to undo something, you can always do that. All you have to do is just click here on the applied steps. You see a cross in front of the step that you have applied. When you click on that, it will revert back to the original data. So like this, you can transform any information, and there are like tons of transformations. As you see here on the top, you can merge, you can append, you can split, you can change the data type, you can do the aggregations, you can use trigonometry, geometric values, you can use R script and R Python scripts, everything can be transformed here. Pivoting and unpivoting is also supported. After you feel all the transformations have been done, and when you feel all the queries are ready to go to form a complete visual, you can click on simply close and apply. Now this applies the changes on the tables that you have transformed, and automatically all these changes will be reflected in the model and the tables are now loaded. It is creating the connection in model currently. See, this transformation phase going into Power Query is not mandatory. It's purely dependent on the business requirement. If your business requirement is demanding to make some transformations and some changes in the column types, then only you have to go through that step, or else you can directly hit the load button, which will bring you directly into this page where the tables are loaded. See, now the Excel sheet has been converted into tables. No matter whatever is the source, you will see the data in the form of a table. And again, on the data view, when you click on that table, you will see the data. And like as I told you, you can do some minimal transformations here where you can just have the filters on top of it. You can sort it ascending or descending. You can change the formatting. You can change the data type. You can summarize them. You can do all such kind of transformations at the data level. And the important point here is the modeling pane, where we have to make sure all the tables are connected. As you see here, I don't have the date table connected to any one of the table. So in this case, what happens is whenever I'm bringing in a visual with sales, products, and geo, it is going to give me appropriate results because they're connected with each other. But when it comes to when I want to know what are the sales happened for that particular product in this geographical location or in a specific month, which is in my date table, I'm not going to get an appropriate result for that because date is not connected to any one of the tables. So we have to make sure the date is connected. All you have to do is you see the date column here and you see the date column in the sales table, just drag and drop. Now, when you drag and drop, it is asking you, do you want to create a connection between these two from date and sales? Simply say save. And now the connection has been created. So now after the connection is created, all we have to do is just pull the data that is appropriate into the respective visuals that you want to see, and then your report is ready. For the presentation, I'm going to choose different kinds of charts here and show you how we can bring in the data. Now, in order to bring in a respective visual, all you have to do is just click on that particular visual, click on the empty space on the report pane and click on a visual. It automatically adds that here. So now on the pie chart, I have the legend, values, and details. So all I can do is I can just go into the details. Let's say I want the revenue under the values, which is an aggregated value. As you see, the visual is now popping up. And let's say I want to do it for category, which is products. I have the products. And let's say under particular country. So we have category, we have country, and we have the legend in, the sum of revenue information here. So now here we can either see on the focus mode how this particular data is being seen. And when you just simply hover your mouse, you will see this category is rural and country is USA and the sum of revenue is 7 million. So you can always go back to the report and then clicking on another visual. Let's say I want to click on this clustered column chart and let's again pick the revenue under y-axis. And let's say we have the country under x-axis. And I think we have only USA. Let's do maybe states in USA. Okay, now we got 3 different states and we can further customize it into categories. So now if you see here, for every category, it is giving me the state level revenue information. It is just like representing the data in different format. So one good thing is depending on the columns that you are bringing in here or the fields that you're bringing on the visual, it automatically gives you the heading for that particular visual, like sum of revenue by state and category, sum of revenue by category and country. You can directly do that and you can just copy the visual if you want. Okay, I made a copy of pie chart. You can click on the pie chart and then maybe change it to something else. So this is that easy. Like as I told you, we can build the reports in minutes. It is not going to take much time. If you have all the data modeled and if you have all the data available readily for you, you need not even do any kind of transformations. You can simply build the report and you can save the report and simply hit on the publish button. When you hit the publish button, it goes on to your Power BI services, which is cloud. So once again, I'm repeating whatever we are doing here, it's just a report. This is not a dashboard. You can do multiple pages on this. You can go into multiple pages. You can create as many pages report as you want. The entire file will be saved as a .pbix file. And once you're done building your report, you can save your project and then publish it onto Power BI services, where you can now build a dashboard with the help of combination of multiple pages on this report. You can combine them into one single summarized page. So that is a small demonstration of how a Power BI report can be created. Now I have given you an example from an Excel source. We can even bring in from any source, or even you can write a blank query here as well. And like as I was telling you about the DAX, here we have two options where either you can add a new measure or a new column. Let's say you have this particular table, a product table, in which I want to add a custom column, or maybe a sales table where I want to add a custom column, like let's say revenue for last year. So all I can do is I can just click on the sales. I can click on this three dots, which is an options button. I can say new quick measure. So when I do that, it is now asking me what kind of a calculation, select a calculation. So I can select, let's say, I want year to date total. Okay. Everything is like formula is automatically created. All you have to do is just drag and drop. So what is the base value? The base value is my revenue. Okay. I have added that. And what is the date? It is yearly, right? I have to go into my date table and I have to pick the year. So let's do month. Yeah. And when I just click on add, you see revenue YTD, that particular column, I mean, it's not column, it's a measure that has been automatically added. And this is the expression. All this is written in DAX. So either you can automatically create a quick measure, which will give you an inbuilt formula. There are few templates, like as you're seeing here, there are few calculation templates. You can select those to build a formula, or you can write your own formula to create either a column or a measure. A column means it's a persisted copy. It will be physically available and you can see on the table in the table view. But when I say it is a measure, it's a non-persisted copy where it will be seen under the list here, but you don't see it on the table. These measure values are calculated on the fly. So this is a small demonstration and a quick process of how we create reports in Power BI. I think now the session is open for Q&A. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Gayatri, for this informative session. Now I request to the audience, please pop in your questions. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Our instructor Gayatri will answer all your questions. Gayatri, let me see if we got any questions.
Okay, sure.
No questions yet. Okay, we will give some more time. Let us know if anyone have any question. Okay, Abiba have a question. Abiba, please go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, it is about data model. Gayatri, want to know about data model?
Okay.
How do I properly connect data?
So let me show you. So Abiba, I hope you can see the screen again. So properly connecting the data depends on the authentication. Okay. For example, now in the demonstration, I was showing you an Excel file, right? So this Excel file is available on my desktop. That is the reason it doesn't require any kind of authentication because I'm an admin on my machine. But let's say if I'm trying to connect to any other RDBMS like SQL Server. So when I try to connect with SQL Server or be it any cloud applications like Azure or Snowflake or something like that, you would be requiring some authentication that you have to clear. For example, for SQL Server, I have to give in my server name and I have to even give in the database name. And under the advanced options here, I have an option to either write in a SQL query, or if I have already finished my authentication here, all I can do is just simply go into transform data where I can input my user ID and password. Or if you are using that source for the very first time, it is going to ask you in this particular window itself, what is your username and password in order to access that particular source. Only after you have a proper authentication, proper connection is made, then only it will take you to the next page, which is a navigator pane, where you can select all the tables or all the data that you want to bring into the model. Did that answer your question?
All right. So here's put across another question.
Okay.
I am currently working on a project with 2 Excel files and wonder which model to use to analyze my data.
So with Excel files, I would say Power BI would be much easier for you because Excel format and Power BI format are something similar. As you can see here on the table pane, it's a table view, you have this kind of a format. It's a tabular format, which is exactly how it looks like in Excel. So what you can do as you're working with 2 Excel files, so you can load the first Excel file and then again connect to get data and again use Excel workbook and load the second Excel file. So whenever you click on that particular Excel file, let's say I have this data file, it will directly take me to the navigator pane because here you don't require any additional authentication. So for in your case, let's say this is my Excel file 1. I want only date table, date sheet. Simply load. If you don't have any transformations that needs to be done, I can hit on load. And then I'll again I'll again go back here and again I'll say another Excel workbook. And now this time I'll pick the second workbook, whatever you're talking about, and then select the tables. I hope that answered your question.
Hope we have answered, Aviva. So let me have a final check if we have any other question. I think we are done up with the questions. If anyone have any question, you can reach us on the email. We will reach you back with all the details.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Gayatri. We have done up with the questions. And again, thank you for your time today. I have a special offer. I have a special offer announcement. We are running a special offer on Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst Program and also on few more courses. This is the industry's our big discount. It is the premium discount. To know more, you can visit on our website. Me and my team will also send you the email. You can reply us back. If in case you have any friend or colleague looking for the training, you can also suggest them. I have also added my LinkedIn profile and company details. If anyone wants to know more, can connect with me directly. So when it comes on upskilling and reskilling, CCS Learning Academy is designed to be your organization's secret weapon. A network of talented and passionate professional instructors are ready and waiting to work directly with you and your team. If you are new to IT or seasoned professional, we offer a wide range of courses for your needs. If you need more information, please contact us. On behalf of CCS and our instructor Gayathri, we would like to thank you for your attention on this important training session today. Hope you enjoyed the session. Looking forward to you all for joining our future webinars. Stay safe out there. Thank you very much.